to talk about it because I'm not in the mind frame, I think, to really talk about it, but I'm gonna try. So, okay. Hey, well, my Google's not on. So, it is July 9th, 2026, and the time is 9:22 a.m. and I was just violently, brutally burned out of bed, and then I got Morse code on my left knee. My head was burnt off. I got Morse code on my left knee. Someone was trying to digi-fuck me throughout the night and was unsuccessful. I tossed and turned the entire night, and I would like to report that no one was able to digi-fuck me against my will with the biotech. But that also meant that I didn't get a lot of sleep either. When I finally fell asleep, someone burnt my head off times infinity. And then my kneecap was Morse code. Now, I did see Morse code yesterday. I'm not going to tell you where I saw it, how I saw it, where I saw it, but it was definitely hit. And I know hit is one of the easiest things for me to recognize because it's 421. It's just 421. Yesterday morning, someone used the sound thing in my ear. I forgot to mention it in my recording. They did it one time. It was real sound. I think they were testing, obviously, because it only happened once. And for a second. So I call that a test. But today, someone was trying to activate my cells like a connection to me, like a cellular device, undetected, at the speed of light, faster than you can make a phone call, except they weren't really communicating anything that was good. I say that they were trying to activate my cells because of the way that I was targeted and the intensity of how I was targeted. It was meant to hurt me. It was meant to be painful. It was meant to cause agitation, irritation, and frustration. Yesterday, Webull said that I sold my Lumen stock, my Stellar Lumen crypto in 2023. I did not sell my Stellar Lumen crypto. I didn't sell any of my cryptos. None of them. And I have a lot of them. I lost some because Voyager went bankrupt. I have some with Coinbase, and I didn't sell any of those. And none of my crypto is worth anything. But with that being said, none of it's worth anything, but I didn't sell any of it. And I have a lot of it. I have a lot of it, and I didn't sell any of it. And I think that they sold my Stellar Lumen crypto to irritate and frustrate me, or to try to show that I have memory problems, like I somehow don't remember that I sold my Stellar Lumen, and also to expose the fact that I had bought 44 Dogecoin in 2021 at a specific time. And one of my favorite characters is Domina Augustus, 44 BC, 44 billion. And my name is Nicola, and I have the biotech in my body. And I was born in 1977. All of it's just a coincidence. But anywho, Elon didn't do this to me. I think that Elon might have found out what was done to me, but he definitely didn't do this to me. He has nothing to do with how this biotech was snuck in my body. He wouldn't have done it this way. He would have done it the way he did it, which is get consent, compensate the people that consented, and not use it as a form of coercion to hurt them. The way that this biotech was stuck in my body, it wasn't without consent, it was without compensation, and with the use of coercion, because of the way that someone continuously tries to use it on me to hurt me, and they should not. It also is being used for communications as well. Everything in Washington falls under the letter C: civil rights, the Constitution, chips, communications. And if you get anywhere close to this biotech, either it's classified or confidential, or they're clueless, they act like they don't know nothing about it, or if you become even close to credible about things that they don't want to talk about, they try to make you look crazy. Now, do I think the U.S. government is doing this to me? I don't know. I'm not really sure if they're doing this, but someone is doing this. Someone sold my Stellar Lumen, and I think they sold it because the only other crypto that I had with Webull was that 44 that I bought in 2021 with Doge. And then also I felt like the way my head was burnt off after I posted my podcast about it yesterday, it's like they're trying to, whoever is burning off my head most likely is also responsible for my Stellar Lumen showing a receipt that I sold it in 2023 when I was just looking at it in my pipeline when I was updating my database less than 2 weeks ago. Like literally I was updating my database and it was in there. I even questioned it out loud. And that's funny. I questioned it out loud because I was like, wait, I didn't see my Stellar Lumen. I said that out loud in my bedroom when I was updating my database just a few days ago. And then I went and looked it up and I'm like, oh, here it is. And it was there right with my my Dogecoin, which none of the stuff is worth anything, right? But I didn't sell it. The bottom line is my Dogecoin is still there, but my Stellar Lumen is not. And I'm like, and then my head gets burnt off today. And I'm like, okay, this is giving Severance. Like Helly is my person too, from Severance, Lumen. So it's just like, whoever is doing this to me is stupid and evil as shit. And they shouldn't be using the biotech in a counterproductive, ass backwards way, trying to repeat history like an overseer. I'm not a slave, and they're not an overseer. I'm not a puppet, and the biotech and the electromagnetic waves are not strings for you to sit there and maliciously hurt me with it. And I'm not a terrorist. You're the terrorist and you're using the biotech to terrorize me. And I said that the biotech and the energy that you're transmitting is the drone. I'm not the drone. It's working through me like a prism. And the energy that you send to me and the way that you target me will work the same way a prism works. So this is where I wanted to begin. And I actually feel uncomfortable talking about what I want to talk about because I didn't want to talk about it in a negative light. I didn't want to talk about it like this. I feel like I'm not ready to talk about it, but I'm going to try. So I started off negative. I didn't really want to start off negative because what I'm about to say isn't really negative. I want to say, I think I even heard this before. The only part that I heard before, I'm going to tell you what part I heard before, but everything else is coming from me. I feel like someone said the what, and now I think I know the why. So someone said one time the what, and people laughed at. I don't want to say they laughed at him, but he wasn't able to back up the what. This is kind of like talking about like the guy that had the quantum physics theory. He had the what, but he didn't have the why. I have the why. Theoretically, I have the why. This is another situation where I feel like this guy, his historian, whatever you want to call him, archaeologist, he had the what, but he didn't have the why. So what I want to say is I think the Egyptians had electricity. I think they had electricity before all of us. I think that they had it, and I think that those pyramids are prisms. And I think that they studied the sun god, which is Ra. And Ra is the sun god. And I feel like everything that I was looking at their hieroglyphics and looking at the drawings and stuff. I think that they experience static energy in some form, maybe not exactly the form that we experienced it, to the point that it caused them to worship it. They knew that it had power in it. I do think that they had some form of electricity, and maybe not in the same form that we have, but they definitely had it. And I feel like it's in all their symbols. It's in, their pyramids are mathematical. We can't even rebuild them. And they've lasted over 2,000 years, right? They're in perfect shape. And when I look at them, they look like the rainbow, like I've been studying prisms for a while. Even the I should have wrote it down. The thing that China has with the solar energy panels and the mirrors in this large field, I think they were transmitting energy from the sun and it was giving them electricity. I do. I think that they were using it some kind of way. And it may not have been in the same, it may not have been in the same format that we have it. But I think they were connected to it, body and soul. And I think that they experienced it in some way, the same way that I'm experiencing it with the biotech in my body. I feel like they had some sort of, they were able to figure out how to transmit energy. And I think all their symbols are centered around that. And I feel like that's why they worship the sun god, because all of our energy comes from the sun. Even how this biotech works, it's even what Elon's about to do with the whole dark energy thing. He's about to create solar panels in space and transfer, and like how China has that field with they had this big humongous field with these solar panels, mirrors, so that they could generate all this energy. Elon, the dark energy is, he's basically going to take it from space. I think the Egyptians had some connection to that. And I think their pyramids are dedicated to it. I think their pyramids are prisms. I think their pyramids are mathematical equations for something that they were connected to, that they felt and they knew was present. And I think it was energy. And I think it was coming from the sun. And I think that they had some sort of electricity. And like when I look at a lot of, like right now, I was like, I love history, so I was like going down a rabbit hole. I was watching videos on Octavian, and I was watching videos on the different queens, Cleopatra's daughter, Cleopatra Selene. I was looking at a lot of their artifacts and their figures and drawings, and it's clear to me that they had some form of electricity. And because it's 2,000 years later, what we have is what was left over. And I think those pyramids are prisms. And they serve some purpose, something that we just don't know. And that's what I think. That's my perspective. I heard this guy say, this old white man, he said that he thought that they had some electricity, but he stopped there. He said it because of, I think he said it because of I might be making this up, but I feel like he said it because of some of the armor, some of the not jewelry, but the things that they wore around their wrists and arms. I think but I might be making that up. But I feel like he said something like that. And then he was looking at, and I might be making this up too, he said that the pyramids had some sort of like irrigation system inside of it. So I could be making that up. Like, I have to watch the video again. But he was saying that there was things that perplexed the archaeologists about the pyramids, and something that had to do with the water and how it flowed. And he said that he felt that it's possible that the Egyptians had electricity before we knew what electricity was. I think they did too. I think the pyramids are prisms. I think they're dedicated to the sun because the sun gave them energy that they were able to feel. I just think that because of a lot of the same reasons. And the fact that I can now feel energy and it transmits through me, and I feel like it's possible they were able to do the same thing in ways that we just haven't realized. So yeah, that's just another perspective. Now every time when I look at those pyramids, I'm like, they're pyramids, but those are prisms. Those are mathematical equations to represent the transmission of energy. And um, anywho, so yeah, this is short. This is really short. I think now there, wait, I forgot. No, it's not. I need to talk about the other stuff. Okay. So I forgot all about this other stuff I need to talk about. Okay. Moving on. So okay. This is something else about this era that I was looking up and I took screenshots and stuff. This is it's an hypothesis. Okay. So, AI has advanced in such a way now that they can, how can you say, they can transcribe things that we have been unable to transcribe. So like, you can put your body through a system and AI can interpret, like medical diagnoses. You can take old transcriptions of like hieroglyphics and things like that, and AI can read it for you. But AI can do something else, and I seen it in this article where the scrolls that were in Pompeii, that were destroyed at a certain time, which was, I forget, like in the early years of AD, which wasn't too long after Augustus died, and all the people that were in the era of when Cleopatra lived, they were writers. They wrote books. Their society was very advanced. Both the Roman society was advanced and Alexandria was advanced. Alexandria had a great flood, but the scrolls of were destroyed. So now they have this AI that can read the writings of some of the scrolls. Like they have all the scrolls. They haven't unraveled them because they're too delicate because of how old they are. But they are running the scrolls through an AI system that is able to identify a lot of the writings and the words. So, in my research, I wasn't researching. I was just watching, historical videos on YouTube and Curiosity Stream. But I was watching about Egypt. They're on the hunt for Cleopatra's tomb. And I had a lot of questions about the whole Cleopatra thing. Like, how did they know if there's no body and how did they know she really committed suicide? And one of the things that I found out was that she committed suicide under the imprisonment of Octavian, who was a writer. And I said that, like, this woman, they said she had no archaeological background, but she had a new perspective on where Cleopatra's tomb was and that she was looking for it. And I'm not trying to dismiss her research, but I feel like Octavian probably wrote, Cleopatra Selene, her daughter, probably wrote. It's probably written in those scrolls where she's buried. I feel like the reason why we don't know is because she was Cleopatra. If Octavian did bury her along with Mark Antony, he's not going to disclose where because of who she was. But he would have wrote it like kind of like how our government keeps things secret about JFK or about Martin Luther King. I mean, he didn't even really he did not like Cleopatra. She was an enemy of the state. And Mark Antony had defied his own government. So it wouldn't have been something that he would have disclosed to the public as far as like burial arrangements, but it is something that he would have documented. I feel like I feel like it's documented and cross-referenced by multiple people from that era, and I believe that it's in those scrolls. And because they keep saying that they're on the dig, they're digging all over the place. I'm like, well, maybe y'all should stop digging and look and use that AI system that they created to read the scrolls and see if you can get the AI system to cross reference like keywords like Cleopatra or Mark Antony, or look for keywords of the people that lived in that era. You might actually find that it's written exactly where she's buried. They didn't have that before. Like, I just seen the article. Like, I was just the art. It's like a new thing that they did like a like, what do you call it? An expose, where they show how it works. So I feel like this is, if you want to use it, because it's like there's so many hidden secrets or hidden things that we don't know in those scrolls. I'm like, well, if you look at the era of the scrolls that y'all have, most likely in those scrolls somewhere it says where Cleopatra is buried, and it probably says where Mark Antony is buried in those scrolls from that era. So yeah, that's the only thing else I wanted to say. I kind of thought it was interesting because I saw the article about the AI and how it can read the old scrolls a few weeks before I started watching the documentaries on the queens of Egypt. So yeah, that was it. That was the last thing that I wanted to say. Okay. I'm probably gonna post this. Oh, and guess what? What happened? My Samsung didn't cut off the recording like it normally does. So yeah, that's it.